I am 5'2", and Kimber, as a great leader, she asked me, Reyna, I just want to make sure, like, how tall are you? And I'm like, I'm 5'2", and it's like, I got you. We're going to figure it out. So thank you so much for passing it on, and thank you for sharing the story about Denise that made it happen the first time. I'm a little overwhelmed with a lot of emotions. 2022 has been a very, very challenging year in so many fronts. But before I share a little bit about the journey, I wanted to start by thanking Ballot leadership for recognizing the Arizonans who are making collective impact. I want to congratulate Chad Geston, the 73rd Man of the Year. Thank you for embodying Ballot leadership values and for building trust, specifically with educators, with students, like Rodrigo, who's now moving on, and shout out to Rocio, who's his sister, who's here, and families. It is so important that we start from a place of commonality and a place of acknowledging each other's humanity. Pearl, where are you? There you are. Thank you so much for believing in me, for paying it forward, and for being a kind leader that believes in other women. So thank you for acknowledging, for all the late nights, and also for the amazing readings of sharing about Desmond Tutu. So thank you for that. Yes, let's give it up for Pearl. I've never been this tall. This is really awkward. I kind of miss my short self. It's an interesting view that you get, Paul. I'm not going to lie. There are so many people I want to show appreciation, so I'll try to make it quick too and start with my life partner, Jose, for being through thick and thin and voters' files. To my amazing Aliento team, Diego, Jose, Lily, Ana, Adriana, Rocio, Dulce, Pedro, and Susie, thank you for making all the magic happen, from onboarding 80 interns on election day, leading up to election day, to really building spaces of collective healing with our young people. To our students, Liz, Valeria, Denise, Angel, you're my North Star. Thank you for using your voice, for being courageous, for not allowing a title and a fancy suit diminish your light. Your voice matters, and you're worthy, and I got your back. To our board of directors, there's so many of you here, from Vanessa, Pearl, Manuel, our latest addition, to Justin. I'm not sure if he was able to make it, but also Steve, Janice, Adriana, Gabriela. Thank you so much for believing in the mission and the vision of Aliento. It takes a village to make collective impact, and without your support and your determination, I wouldn't be here without you. To our funders, like the Arizona Community Foundation, for being our first ever grant to believe in the power of healing of our young community, to Helios Education Foundation, Faros Foundation. Thank you, Adriana, for believing in us. Bob and Renee Parsons Foundation, a special shout out to Mayra, who was here and had to do mom duties to make sure that she was at her daughter's dance recital, to the IDA Phoenix, and there's so many other supporters, like John Graham and many others that have gotten our back and have gotten to know us across the time. To all our supporters, our partners, Center of Arizona, Future of Arizona, Teach for America, Education Forward, and there's so many to name, and I believe in the power of acknowledging all of your work and that it takes a village to make real collective impact. To our mentors and friends, especially Berman Pastor and Angie Lopez, you have so much fire in you that has been so inspiring to see you through generations, to not only be that beacon of hope, but being a life testament that paying it forward matters and that mentorship and support matters. So thank you for being that light for so many of us. Dr. McConnell, Dr. Iracema, and there's so many people else to acknowledge in this room. So I said I was going to make it quick. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of our village. But most importantly, I have to say thank you to mi mami y mi papi. Sin ustedes no estaría aquí literalmente. Gracias por guiarme y amarme. Without your love, sacrifice, and compassion, I wouldn't be here. I love you so much, and I can't wait to continue to live to the promise of chasing your dreams for protection for your little ones. And as I was thinking and reflecting about today and what leadership means, I couldn't help but to think about the word resilience. And resilience is something that tastes really sour and that I had to face at a young age. Resilience was to migrate to a country where I didn't know the language, where at a young age I was really quickly to learn that my worth and my ability and my potential was being judged by the fact of not speaking a language. Resilience was to have to face the heartbreak of not going to honors math because there was a 4-hour block that prevented me to attend honor classes because I needed to learn English, and my potential was being limited by the fact that people didn't believe in me. They didn't believe that a little girl from Mexico who didn't know a word of English could be better at math than some of their peers. Resilience meant to having to hold my mom really tight before driving to school, with the worry of not knowing if a couple rates would be the last time that we were to embrace each other. Resilience meant to, despite the barriers, despite the heartbreak of not knowing that I could receive those scholarships that I have worked so hard for, had to be given away because I didn't have a 9-digit number that validated my existence and my ability to move forward. Despite the resilience, there was a lot of grace. So sour sometimes can be kind of gross, but it also can be really enjoyable. And at that time, I had people that, regardless of the obstacles, believed in me. Strangers, private donors that maybe sat at tables like this, who said, kids like Reyna deserve an opportunity to achieve their higher educational dreams, and their immigration status should not stop them. It takes a village to make an impact. And when I continue to reflect about leadership, I think about the cost. Some of you might have been celebrating with us about the historic change of the passage of Prop 308. And we were at an annual retreat, and I was a classroom teacher once, and yesterday our facilitator told us that Prop 308's victory deserves fireworks. So all of you are gonna come and join me to do fireworks together, and we're gonna have to shout out Kim for giving us that gift. So the way that you do it, you're gonna go, woo, you're gonna clap, and then you're gonna snap it up. Does that sound good? Are we all ready? Do you need a little rehearsal? You're ready to go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Woo! And among the sparkles, there was a lot of pain and there was a lot of struggle. So when I think about leadership, I think about the cost that it took to get there. I think about the voices of students that have to break the barriers of being reminded that they matter. Because sometimes when you have faced an immense amount of trauma and an immense amount of no's in your livelihood, you start believing that you're not worthy and that that's something to the spirit. But when I think about leadership, I think about Liz, I think about Angel, I think about Valeria, I think about Denise, and I think about their courage to not only share about their journey with lawmakers who might not see them eye to eye or might not acknowledge their humanity, but they respected their humanity. And they invited them and gave them an invitation to build that bridge and to get to know each other. When I think about leadership, I think about all these nights of trying to understand what is the title that education holds, which is Title 15 for our policy makers in the room. I see Dan and Amanda over there, learning that and saying and being reflected about that Prop 300 really created all these barriers for 16 graduating classes Jose's was the first class to be impacted by it. Mine was the second one. And we continued to meet student after student who had to face that heartbreak of not thinking that they were going to achieve their educational dreams and that they were going to be pushed away from their state that they love in order for them to graduate. And it is with a lot of pride and honor and through a lot of sacrifice and a lot of people who supported us along the way that we were able to make it happen. But it didn't come at an easy journey. There were people who laughed at our faces. They were people that told us that it was not good enough, that we needed something bigger. But they were people who believed in us and who along the journey, those non-believers became believers. Because at the end of the day, leadership, the way that we talked about it, it's being able to lead in the midst of adversity and uncertainty. And we all have a choice. So I'm so honored to be reflected about this leadership journey with our friends at Ballot Leadership, because leadership is not a title, but it is a verb, and it is an action step that we can all take. So just like a little bit about the journey of Aliento that you got to hear, we started with an initiative, never believing that we were gonna do something bigger. And then we had supporters that pushed us in the community who pushed us to listen, and to listen to know that there are still a lot of heartbreak in our communities, that mental health initiatives are important and that our people need healing, that education and leadership initiatives for our young people mean something different, because we gotta compensate their labor, because if they're not gonna be able to have that opportunity, they're gonna have to go and see it somewhere else. That through policy and advocacy and systemic change, like the College Promise programs that we got together with the City of Phoenix, support of City Councilwoman Pastor and Jasmine, and our partners like Maricopa Community College Foundation, now $5 million was appropriated to ensure that students have an opportunity to close that gap, students of color, when we still live in a state that only 22% of Latinos, which are the most growing population, do not have the same achievement gap when it comes to higher education awareness when we compare it to other peers, like our white brothers and sisters at 56%. There are so many things ahead of us. We still have the DACA program uncertain. We still have students feeling unwelcome in their classrooms. We still have environments where their humanity is not acknowledged. We still have to reflect and honor that suicide is the top second leading cause of death, and that they are Latina students who are disproportionately impacted by education attainment. Yet, we're called to make a choice. Like leadership is a choice. It's a choice to be reminded and ask ourselves, what are we willing to do to build these bridges and to make that impact? Because it's gonna take all of us. It's gonna take all of us to engage in conversations with our friends, with our family members, with those people that don't see us eye to eye, and remind that we're all in this together and Arizona is counting on us. So today, let's celebrate that our states shine for all Arizona high school graduates, regardless of immigration status. Make initiatives like Proposition 308 be a beacon of hope for Arizona and our nation. We need your leadership. We need you to lead with integrity, with heart and compassion. Let us be reminded that together we are stronger. Let us be reminded that there is so much power in building bridges and centering the people impacted by policies. I know that when we work together and center humanity, we can solve today's most pressing problems. I stand before you to invite you to breathe with me. Inhale. Exhale. Look around you. Acknowledge each other. Inhale. Exhale. We are beings of light, beings of love. Let's never forget to see each other eye to eye and acknowledge our shared humanity. In Lakesh, tú eres mi otro yo. You are my other me. Ubuntu, my humanity is tied to yours. My humanity is tied to mine. As I walk away from this stage, I hope you remember my story. Remember the contributions, creativity, and humanity of all immigrants. I hope you'll remember that we breathe the same air and that we are one community. I hope you remember that we have a choice to nurture, serve, and lead with love in the midst of so much darkness. We all have a choice to be a light. Thank you.